Dear Brazil volleyball fans, I know you are really a lot because volleyball, I don't know where exactly born. They say it's born in America from Mr. Morgan, but from me, from the way I grew in my town in Modena when I was young volleyball player, volleyball means Brazil. Think that when I was a child, my father was a coach. It was kind of professional, but when I was a child, we have to go back many years, and so it was a different kind of level of professionality. But think that my father, in his team that was called Edil Cuoghi Sassuolo, he was coaching a player called Jose Montanaro, and I believe everybody of you know. And so I was a kid, I was watching this Brazilian amazing player with this amazing arm swing that he was attacking incredible. There was also great skill. And he teach to my father, what now we call the pancake, so it was I think the first player to bring in Italy this new defense skill. And think that almost at the same time, my uncle was coaching in Panini Modena, Reisman, so this is the way Bernardo Reisman, if I'm not wrong, I hope to not mistake. If I mistake, please apologize, because I was really child. So my uncle Reisman, and my father was the coach of Montanaro. And then when I grow, and then I start to be Dal Zotto, bringing incredible volleyball skills in Italy. And then when I start to be a coach, it was the time that Bernardino was in Modena doing amazing stuff. And then I still Modena fans, I still Modena player, and so I see, and I cheer for Bruno many times. So is of course from this you understood that volleyball is my life, volleyball is my passion, volleyball is everything I can do, and everything and it's basically my life, And there are so many stories connected to Brazil and Brazilian, so many. I coach Erika Coimbra, I coach. I coach Virna Diaz. Right now I'm coaching an incredible human being, an incredible player that is Gabi Guimarães, and every 3 match I have a fight with José Roberto, because me and José Roberto, we never have a normal relationship. We are good friends, I think we respect each other a lot, but every 2-3 matches, something that we fight, we really fight. And one of the best story I remember was one final of playoff in Turkey. He was coaching Fenerbahce, was coaching VakifBank, and I was thinking, now he will always tell you that he was not, but I was thinking that the statistician of De Roberto from the back was calling to the middle blocker the sign of my set, and then I start to complain with him. I said, come on, and you cannot. Actually, wait. There are 2 stories with De Roberto. One, probably it's not his fault, but this story, so the statistician of De Roberto, that now is my assistant coach, Saim Pacan, by the way, he was telling to his middle blocker the call of my setter, and I start to fight with him like crazy, and he was telling me, I don't know nothing, Giovanni, it's not me, I don't know nothing, and I kind of believe, and by the way, so what happened, so I start to call to my player the position, I don't want to make bad sign, but I show bad fingers, to the statistician. But thinking that in that moment, in the stadium, there was like almost 8,000 people, and 7,000 was fans of Fenerbahce. And so they think that this sign that I did to my player, was for Fenerbahce fans. But for me, can you imagine, I will never, I'm stupid, but I'm not so stupid to fight against 7,000 people, and there was no reason. So Fenerbahce fans are great fans, so they're doing a great job, amazing. So I was just against, the statistician, and the police have to bring me out because all the fans were angry with me. And another funny story with that was that me and him, we start to fight, and talk, and the first referee said, sorry, Roberto Guidetti, you have a lot to talk, so both goes out, and so you will finish your conversation. So this is pretty much my story with Brazilian volleyball. This is pretty much my experience, and thanks Brazil, thank you so much to the great effort you bring to our sport. José Roberto, and then we have Bernardino, and then my friend Paulo Coco, and so many previous incredible coaches, so many great, incredible players. So thanks a lot that in the world of volleyball we have Brazil.